Походу, я кое-что тут понял, что делать. У меня проблема здесь, что у меня выбирается 3 геймпада. Если я самим левым стиком начинаю двигать, то есть это полная жопа. То есть я беру на крестовину, и, допустим, выбираю тогда какую-нибудь команду. Нажимаю игра. Вот, видите, сейчас не совсем. Это не должно быть. Они должны остаться здесь, и я должен как-то запустить. Вот теперь она мне запустит. Прикольно. Она что-то трендит, конечно, я ни хера не понимаю, о чем она. Или говорю, аркада. Тип события, игра, мод. Еще херу поймешь. Ну, типа симуляцион. И здесь надо выйти. Просто выйти. Почему выйти? Значит, не то, что я готов.
Entering game settings screen, you have 9 options. Game style option is set to simulation.
Твою мать. Это что еще такое? Вообще нахер ни хера не понимаю, что мне.
This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings, and coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today, and Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden?
Да, плохо, да, когда не знаешь, что английский. В этом плане тебе немножко слово.
He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
Так, я так сейчас понимаю, что я сейчас должен принять какую-то схему, да, которую я буду играть. Специальные команды. Старт справа. Середина матч. Стартовый матч, стартовый левый. Что мы делать должны? Я тут дохерачу. То есть мы тут перед началом нужно еще выбрать, что мы будем делать.
And how about this? An onside kick to start the game. And it is gobbled up by the NFC.
То есть, чтобы играть в эту игру, короче, нужно знать правила.
The offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted. On the counter now, it's Sanders. And that's not the start that he was looking for, as he's going to be met and dropped behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. Second down. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. And he played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon. Cal Poly San Luis.
Да вообще полный бред, короче.
In 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
Good coverage there by the AFC defense. It's 4th down.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
That's running out of steam and it won't get
Непонятно ровно ничего.
Вообще полный бред. И не долетели. Но, насколько знает, хорошо. Но он же не попал в аут, что ты там?
54 yards. I'm surprised that came up short.
I would agree with that one because normally, if he misses, it's accuracy, not length, because he has plenty of leg for that. But maybe it's like I hit my golf shot, you know, maybe it's like my wedge, you know, when you chili dip and you hit the ground ahead of it, sometimes that'll shorten your
Надо было попробовать что-то
Charles,
сделать.
you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958, was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field.
Блядь, я не совсем понимаю, как от них убежать.
Still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles. With quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer.
Ну я ж убежал от него, ёб твою мать, ну, блядь. Тут еще проблема в том, что ты не знаешь, какие кнопки отдать. И чё это такое?
Began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
And the punt goes out of bounds, so no
То есть
chance
с
to bring it
управлением
back,
тут
and they will
жопа.
spot it at the 24-yard line.
Во-первых, он должен, в принципе, был ударить туда, куда я показал. А он вообще не туда бьет. Полный бред, блядь. Я херею.
But let's face it, some coaches have a little bit less patience for that than others. Let's see if they call the game differently now in terms of what they do on drives and not try and settle for field goals.
And now the drive starts with a completion out to the right. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That'll wind up a gain of 27 on the catch and run.
Вообще нам это дрюкают нас по полу.
Young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, in 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, in the NFL were about to go on.
Во-первых, здесь нет меню, чтобы посмотреть, за какие кнопки что отвечает. Ты же должен по умолчанию типа знать, что ты будешь делать. And he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
And when you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root. As did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, how about quarterback Kenny Stable, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about those great linemen he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, tackle Art Shell, all of them. Ну это реально игра для фанатов офигительная. Ты должен понимать, знать все правила, понимать, что мы сейчас делаем, блядь. Понимать, как переключается управление.
Charles, you think about all the success that John Madden had as an NFL head coach, and he had plenty, and we talked about it, including the 10 straight winning seasons, a Super Bowl title. But like any great coach, he also suffered through a few tough losses along the way as well.
And Brandon, those tough losses came in high-stakes games because they always had such great success. Think about it this way. 6 times in his 10 years, the Raiders were knocked out near the AFL championship game or the AFC championship game. But might be a division
Игра про падение игроков.
That's the one that bothered him most of all. Three River Stadium, December 1972. Yes, the immaculate reception game. Franco Harris grabbing the ball that was deflected.
Нет, я говорю, это игра чисто для фанатов, конкретно для фанатов, потому что
And partner, anyone who loves black and silver still doesn't believe that ball hit anyone in black and silver that day, and that play should never have counted.
So now the AFC offense here coming back out for their second drive. This one a little slow to get cooking, just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is going to lose yardage here. Safety Ronnie Lott diagnosed that perfectly.
Просто проблема в том, как отдать пас, на какую кнопку надо нажать.
The decade of the 70s, but for one shining season, they put it all together, and that was 1976. You remember a 13-1 regular season, a memorable playoff win over New England. They dominated the Steelers 24-7 in the AFC title game, and then a meeting with the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 11.
Oh, Brandon, what a game that was down at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
Я даже не понимаю, как пас. Уже все просто тупо кнопки нажимают, чтобы отдать пас, кинуть мяч.
Raiders got out to a 16-0 lead at the half, and Clarence Davis, no relation, although I would certainly claim him. Strong on the ground, 137 yards rushing. How about Freddie Blitnikoff, MVP of that game, catching everything that came his way. Kenny Stabler running the offense with precision, and we all remember the one that sealed it. The grand old man himself.
Реально, чтобы...
With the laser-focused eyes, picking off Fran Tarkenton and taking it 75 yards for a touchdown. 32-14 the final score. Raiders had their first Super Bowl title, and we got the iconic shot of Coach Madden being lifted on the shoulder pads of his players and carried aloft.
Ну, еще есть такая проблемка, что с управлением здесь явно жопа. Потому что он не хочет бежать по диагонали. Ну, возможно, у меня с геймпадом какие-то вот здесь очень сильно замечается, да. То есть, что у меня не бежит наискосок. То есть, у меня вперед-вправо, ну, там, допустим, прямо вправо-налево, а по диагонали бежать не хочет.
Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game and he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game. He only gave them an instant to react. It was a classic case of if you blink, you missed him. Off the line and to the quarterback in just a couple of seconds. Running back only had a moment to react and attempt to throw a block.
Under pressure, and they got to him again. And the defense coming through on 3rd down, a loss of 7 to bring up 4th. And they brought the pressure there just right up the gut, didn't they?
Пока не будет нормальных точек управления, и ты не будешь понимать, что делать правильно, кто за что отвечает.
So on 4th down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep, 2-time Pro Bowler Dante Hall. And they try the razzle-dazzle, but the ball's out.
Можно узнать, почему он сейчас мячик выкинул, блядь? Я что-то понять не могу, блядь. Я специально крутился, а он в этот момент взял, выкинул зачем-то мяч туда. Это полный бред сейчас в игре. Я не знаю, управление полное, блядь, жопа, блядь.
Аша, ты испугался мяча.
Ну, по походу, да, блядь. Это пиздец какой-то, блядь. Мне в этой игре все больше и больше... Я на фифу гоню! Вот чё, блин. Вот игра, на которую можно гнать. Полный бред сумасшедшего. Я теперь понял. Охереть.
Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated.
Да, какая кнопка теперь отвечает? Просто выкинуть мяч, я понял.
We now proceed to the start of the second half.
Ладно.
The AFC going to get the football first here as we are back underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. Dante Hall going to bring it out of the end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25. Actually,
Ну, он просто выкидывает мяч, я не понимаю. А как пас кинуть? Какая должна кнопка, чтобы кинуть пас?
And it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy. And he's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the
Ну, насколько я понимаю, это игра не для нас.
Вообще полный. Tom Brady turned 45 back on August 3rd because Coach coached a guy like him in George Blanda.
Но уже с мячиком остался.
In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
They'll run with Allen. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains. And not quite sure what just happened there, other than we do know that he spiked the football on first down. Looking to throw on second down. Brady.
Блядь, слушайте, а тут кто нам... Блин, ну я не знаю, я уже староват тоже нажимать столько кнопок.
So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42, he had just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up
Ну то есть, смотрите, надо направлять стиком на игрока, которому ты хочешь кинуть мяч. Автоматом он не кинет куда ты хочешь.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details.
Ну левый, да, я понимаю. Я вперед, почему он назад? Ладно, я назад, и он ближе.
He was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers, and he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit. Here's Ray Guy now as he's on to punt for the AFC. 33 yards is the distance on the punt there. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Now the NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss a part of this offense. And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those are his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so, He showed us all how to go up and get it.
То есть их что-то сделал не
Body
то.
control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
Or was it the line that jumped that time, the second level?
Ага, сюда нельзя выходить.
Because most of the time it's those guys up
Да,
front
я
so
понял.
eager to get off on the snap. They do it, but in this case, you're exactly right. Second level, probably because they moved up to the first level, and that hurts them.
As an inside linebacker, got to be a little bit more poised.
No doubt about it, because they get a little bit of flexibility, especially when they're trying to stuff a gap. You know, we get that double A gap look. This time he got too eager and got too deep into the backfield.
And he gets it down to the 32. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together, but how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together.
Да, с управлением здесь, сука, проблемка.
Short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
So the penalty certainly helps them out as they come up on 2nd and 5. Here's Favre to throw. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
And they'll get him down right about the 20. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. On 3rd down, they turn to Sanders. And not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. This defense not budging. Back-to-back carries of just 2 yards. So a big one coming now for Morton Anderson. This to perhaps
А мячика-то нету, мячика-то
So
нету.
2 minutes to play in the John Madden Legacy game. The NFC trying to finish this one off. We're back to Oakland after this. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. The Hall of Famer's kick is good. And that will make this a 9-point lead. So that one, CD, going to make the road back a lot more difficult.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. You know they were praying on the other sideline for a miss because now, as you pointed out, a very difficult road. Down 2 scores. You don't just need a touchdown. You need a chain of events to go your way.
Ну, блядь, они как-то странно бегают, да, если честно. Они убежали вперед, тот, кому я планировал кинуть мячик, он почему-то, блядь, в толпу бежит. Да, полный бред. Полный бред в игре, если честно, блядь. Я не понимаю этих правил. Не понимаю настройки. Тут надо дохерачить.
And I think he saw a lot of Dave Casper in an all-Madden staple, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is the type of tight end I think everyone's looking for. He's a guy that can make some big plays from that tight end position. Let me tell you, you better make sure you have him accounted for on every play.
And that's exactly right, because Dave Casper, he could shred defenses down the middle of the field. And that's exactly what Tony Gonzalez did in his entire career. A 14-time Pro Bowl selection. Only Tom Brady has more. There's 6 guys.
Короче, бред, сумасшедшая игра, ладно. Попробовал, мне она не понравилась, мне не зашла. Полнейшая фигня, я не понимаю, как в нее играть. Может быть, кто играет постоянно, там, блядь, знает. Ну, на английский, возможно, знать надо, потому что ты читать должен, понимать все, что делать. Попробовал, посмотрел. Игра ко мне не зашла, замена фифы не получится. Возможно, была бы на русском, если бы я мог ее хорошо читать, переводить, изучать. Может быть, я бы и поиграл. Пока нет. Все, всем спасибо за внимание. Чуть-чуть помучился.